Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I worship Your holy name. The sun comes up, it's a new day dawning. It's time to sing Your song again. Whatever may pass and whatever lies before me, let me be singing when the evening comes. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I worship Your holy name. You're rich in love and You're slow to anger. Your name is great and Your heart is kind. For all Your goodness I will keep on singing. 10,000 reasons for my heart to find. So bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I worship Your holy name. Bless You, Lord. And on that day when my strength is failing, the end draws near and my time has come, still my soul will sing Your praise unending. 10,000 years and then forevermore. Forevermore. Bless the Lord, oh my soul, oh my soul. Worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh my soul, I worship worship your holy name.
like that. Good morning, everybody. That was like one person in the back. We're glad that you're here. We're so glad that you're here. Hey, we're going to get started here in just 1 second. A couple of people I want to introduce. You're going to hear a powerful testimony today from Christine. If you were in the 8:30 service, listen, when you sing a song today, don't forget the song when somebody stands up here to speak. It just all came together beautiful. So every song has meaning today. Christine's going to speak, share her testimony, powerful word, and then Chris Elrod is going to be preaching today. And if you were in Sunday school this morning, we had a little time of Q&A with him, and just sharing his heart. You're going to hear more of that in his heart today. At the end of the service, we're going to have a business meeting to just vote on him as a coming on board and helping us in our staff and kind of being a missions kind of outreach pastor. So I don't know exactly what that title is yet. He regrettably is a Gator fan, Dave said, you know, the only thing that could be worse. And he said if he's a New England fan too. Okay, good. Okay. And you want to dog out the Dolphins? It's called a winning season. Have one. Anyway. I know. No. Don't you need to go dive somewhere? Dive. Anyway, we're glad that you're here. Dive. I did add the V in the middle of all that. Hey, we're so glad that you're here. So I'm not going to introduce them again today. Some of y'all know Christine. She's been coming for a couple weeks. Pastor Chris is over here. His wife Denise is with him this morning. Denise, just stand up and raise your hand. You got to stand up and raise your hand. There you go. and then this is Nikki. Some of y'all know Nikki through the food bank. She's with them this morning as well, and part of their ministry team with Impact Ministries. Okay, we're going to pray. And we're going to do something just found out this morning and didn't even find out till after 8:30 service. But we have been praying and been rejoicing with George Phillips, who had cancer, and it wasn't in remission. It was in remission. We were using the remission word. They found one of the lymph nodes on this side has grown 2%. 0.2 of a centimeter in 2 months, 3 months. I'm going to get it all right here in a minute. The point is that we've moved out of remission. Would that be? We don't know. He starts radiation tomorrow. And radiation has some side effects, and so we're going to pray. So we're going to pray for George. If you're just around him, some of the men, if you'll just kind of just right there, George or Gary, you're right there. Just kind of reach out and just kind of touch his shoulder right there, and some of you guys, real quick, and then we're going to. We just believe in the power of prayer, and we have been with George, and every 3 months or so he comes to me and says, "We're still using the R word, and we're just going to believe in that." Okay, so y'all join me as we pray, and when we're done, Eva's going to come and lead us. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for today. We thank you for the opportunity to come and just be a part of this service, to worship you today. That's who we want to focus on. And God, we pray right now for George as these men have circled around him. God, that you would touch his body. God, we know that you've done an amazing work in his life. And God, the news that we were told some time back didn't look real good. But God, you were bigger than that news. And he's been in remission for so long. But God, we do pray that the radiation will be effective and have minimal side effects. And God, that you will get all the glory for that. And God, I thank you, because every time I talk to George, he always says that you're in control. You're in control. And so God, I thank you for that. Thank you for that in his life. Pray that you be with Donna and George both as they walk through this, God, that they do not walk alone. Not only do they walk through it with a church that loves them and family that loves them, but they walk through it with a God who walks in the valleys and brings them to still waters and gives them peace that the world will never understand. And God, we just pray that you be with them in this time. Also want to pray for Deborah this morning, God, as she is recovering from the stroke, God, that you would be with her as well, and others in our church. And good seeing Joanne here this morning. Pray that continued recovery in her body, and others in our church who sometimes the the pain is on the outside, or it's physical like a hip or a broken bone or sickness. And sometimes it is a broken heart and pain and loss. And so, God, I pray for those folks this morning as well. And some of those we share with each other, and sometimes we keep those things in the shadows of our heart. And God, we ask you to find those places and heal those hurts in their life today. We thank you for our service. We thank you for those who will be speaking. Pray for the praise team as they lead us now to your throne room, to your glory. And God, that your name would be magnified. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Well, we are so glad you're here this morning. We're looking forward to another great service. Let's stand. We're going to start off with our welcome song this morning. So after the first verse and chorus, we will greet each other.
I know he rescued my soul. His blood has covered my sin. I believe. My shame is taken away. My pain is healed in his name.
service for children's church.
Children are, I was like, what are we doing? Usually we use 8:30 to practice this, but that's new. Awesome. I guess Alan's already in children's church, then he must have gone straight there. I don't know where he's at. Anyway, as our ushers come forward, this is the offering. Alan, I don't know where he's at. I don't know. He may have had to be home early today. Thank you for your giving and your faithfulness to that end. And just to give you a quick update about the building, the plans, we finally got building plans last week. They have been submitted. We have finalized the application, which means they're not asking for any new information yet. And that has been sent to the 5 reviewers. All 5 of them have to review the plans. If they don't have a problem, then it gets approved. If they have a problem, then it starts the 10-day waiting process again, and we go back and forth. So that's where we are right now. Hopefully that will go smoothly. We'll get permits, and we'll get moving on with that. I just want you to know that through your faithfulness and your great giving to this project, we've been able to add a few things that some jobs that we wanted to get done and some things we wanted to upgrade. We're able to go ahead and do that. We're only about $3,000 away from paying off the loan and paying for the projects. And that's with all the extra stuff, too. So just know that that's the progress we're making. We're looking at the little things and some things we looked around and said, boy, we wanted to do this, and we had not done this yet, so let's go ahead and do that now. And so we're excited about that. You'll see some of that progress. We are going to go ahead and do this week one project and next week another project. And we're going to keep working on the little stuff until we get the buildings in place. Once we get the buildings in place, that becomes the project. So we'll try to have some other stuff done as we do that. So thank you for your giving to all of this and your faithfulness, and we appreciate that. Tom, would you pray for our offering, and then we'll take up our offering.
Sound asleep and too afraid of what might show up while you're dreaming. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. And every day you try to pick up all the pieces, all the memories, they somehow never leave you. Nobody sees you. Nobody will believe you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. You keep a cover over every single secret, so afraid if someone saw them they would leave. But somebody sees you. Somebody will never leave you. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. the kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows where to find you. God only knows how to break through. God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
If I could say that my life was in a song, it's that one. I can't. And I really thought doing this twice the second time would be easier, but I'm going to be honest, it's not. I think it's harder this time. So I'm sorry. I'm just going to tell you up front, I'm sorry for the raw emotion. I was born, my name is Christine, for those of you that don't know me. I was born in small town Rolla, Missouri. I have one older sister, and then my mom remarried shortly after I was born, and so I have two half siblings, my little brother and my little sister. And the man that she married, his name was Dana. You guys have heard about him. He thrived on power, and one day I had to stay home from school sick one day, and he used that power. And he consumed my entire childhood with that power. Abuse was so normal in my home that I thought that everyone's parents treated them the way that my parents treated me. And although the majority of the focus was always on my stepdad, my mom was no better. Eight years later, my twin brother would bring an end to that nightmare. He would tell the family secrets. And you would think that abuse would end when the major perpetrator would leave, but it's not necessarily true. My brother was so addicted to drugs to cover up the pain, and my mom wouldn't allow him in the house, that he took it all out on us, mostly me. Unfortunately, I would spend the next 3 years hiding in school, so much that my senior year I only had to go to school for 3 hours, and that's only because school was mandatory to graduate. I didn't need the credits, I had them. December the 6th, 1996, my mom emancipated my brother. She gave him his adult freedom because for the safety of the rest of us, she had to. The social worker told us that he was moving in with a good family, but wouldn't give us any other information. February the 12th, 1997, about 4 p.m., I got sick. My work knew I was sick. They sent me home. My mom thought I was coming down with pneumonia. She sent me to bed. Around 8 o'clock, she left. She had to go help her friend, who was friends with the people that my brother was living with, that there had been a fire, and 2 people in the fire had been badly burned, and my brother was missing. Around 10 p.m., there was a knock at the door, and a name tag that every time I see a cop, even at my classroom door, I see. Sergeant Potter was standing there to tell me, the oldest person in the home, that my brother was dead. My world as I knew it was over. The next morning, I found myself standing at the big bay window. It's like 4 windows all in one. And a truck drove by. And I realized that the world was still moving, that it wasn't me that had died. And since the world was moving, I did. I went to school. I told my principal. I emptied his locker. I turned in all of his books, told all of his teachers. Somehow I knew that if I stopped, I wouldn't live, because I didn't understand life. at that moment. Losing a twin is different because you shared the womb together. It leaves the singleton, the one of us that's left, with an identity crisis, a constant feeling that they're only half a person, a constant searching for what is missing, and a need to not be left alone. And my children, the two that you know and the one that's in New York, have kind of filled that void, and they've been my buddies. They are my buddies. But my choices that day to continue, to move, ruined the relationships between me and my family members. They found me to be disrespectful, and I was just trying to survive. So I ran. I graduated high school a month and a few days after he died. I turned 18 a few days before that. And I became a sailor in every sense of the word. I fell into every trap there is to be a woman in a man's world. And I continued to connect with people who would have that power over me and take advantage of me being alone. Those pains only added to the guilt that I already had, and I began to feel like everything was my fault. I learned how to obtain alcohol legally, underage. And then I also had an unending supply of Vicodin because the military, that's what they give you when you hurt yourself, and I have 2 very bad knees. Thank you to them. And so I began a cycle that I couldn't stop. I didn't know how to stop it. So then I eventually got married in attempts to stop it. Marriage led to children, and I wanted those children to know the stories from church because that's all they were to me, because we were told everybody goes to heaven no matter what. I became a Christian in August of 2001, and God began a work in me. The angry, hateful girl that lived inside the 22-year-old woman was exposed and presented with a patient love that she didn't understand. A love that drove my church attendance, my Bible study, and my relationships to previously unknown proportions. The girl who once hated God for the things he allowed in her life began to cling to God as the only healing that would manifest itself. I learned to pray for the people who hurt me. I started praying that they would drop dead one day. I don't recommend that. I regret that today. And then I began to pray for their salvation. And then I shared forgiveness with them. I sent letters to the prisons with the people who killed my brother, and one of them got saved. I called my stepdad on Father's Day and said, "Happy Father's Day, this is your daughter. I forgive you," and hung up the phone on his answering machine. And he called back. Both of our lives changed for forever. He became my best friend. And I fought for 16 years with doctors over his life, praying earnestly for him to become saved before he ran out of chances. It also brought on a lot of consequences, some of the hardest that there are to deal with, as I lost friends and I lost my immediate family. They felt that I had betrayed them because not only was I a reminder of everything that they had lost, I also talked to the one person that none of them liked. I lost my first husband to the desires of the world. His online profiles read, "Looking for what I cannot find at home." My dreams of a family were shattered. I picked up the pieces, remarried a couple of years later into a financial scam that wouldn't be revealed for 3.5 years. And despite impeccable record keeping, that scam showed me how imperfect the church was. And I found myself here at Mount Tabor. In January, Dana got sepsis, and because we delayed dialysis, we decided not to do it. And it destroyed everything that he could still do. And as the news of his health continued to roll in, so did that of the father that God gave me to replace what I didn't have at home, and Pastor Mike. The impending divorce became a battle of a lifetime, and I had to fight to keep my house and my paychecks, to raising my children, instead of giving it to someone with false intentions. I had noticed that I was being sued because my 19-year-old hit somebody 2 years ago because his brakes locked up. And then I found out that my sister had stage 4 pancreatic cancer and she had 2 months to live. My family began to pressure me to come home. I didn't know what to do, and I asked God for a sign. And Mike passed away the next morning. I stayed for the funeral and drove the 19 hours, it's supposed to be a 17-hour drive. I drove it in 19 afterwards. And then my mom drove me to the nursing home to meet with the doctors and so that I could see Dana and they said that his organs were shutting down very slowly, very painfully. So we decided to call in hospice. That was Tuesday. Wednesday, the nursing home ignored the orders and sent him to dialysis. Thursday, they sent hospice home. Dana was back in ICU on Friday. Instead of going to see him, I went to his apartment because I had to close out all of his stuff. I was the one responsible. What I found was 5 more victims. So I waited to go see him until the next day because I was angry. I felt like I had been betrayed and lied to. So I told him that I found everything, and he got mad at me because I wasn't supposed to find the evidence of his victims. I don't know how telling me to clean out your stuff isn't going to find that, but I still don't know. But anyways, but I told him that my forgiveness and my love didn't change because of the new information. And I sat with him and rehashed every conversation I'd had with God with him, because I was the only one that was allowed to talk to him about God. Saturday, we had a family dinner that my little sister didn't show up to, and she blamed it on me because to her, the pain was too great. She can't get over the fact that I talked to her dad. My older sister did show up, but she didn't say anything until I told her she was tired, and she looked tired, and she went home. Reality is hard to deal with sometimes. On Sunday, I took the day off. On Monday, I went to pay for the funeral in advance because I knew it was going to happen. While we were at the funeral home, I got another call from the doctor saying we needed to call in hospice again. So I went back. I was still trying to figure out how I was going to do it. And Dana became suddenly aware of everything. He knew for the first time, he knew what day it was, and it was April 1st. It's the biggest April Fool's joke God's ever played on me as my father, knowing for the first day in 3 months where he was and what he was doing and what day it was. So he candidly promised to participate in his own care because he'd beaten God at his own game. Those were his words. He believed that he defied death. So I told him I wasn't going to be his victim anymore. I wasn't going to play his game. And that I loved him too much to watch him purposely suffer. So I went home the next day. 2 weeks later, God showed me that it was my prayers that kept the roller coaster going, and that I just had to let go. So I did. And he passed away less than 2 days later. I wish I could say that 16 years of love covered the world's hate and that Dana accepted Christ. But I can't. I wish I could say that my family talks to me now that he's dead. But I can't. I can tell you that there's a lot of people who saw what God's love was because I had to talk to doctors and nurses, phone companies, apartment complexes, funeral homes, and I even had to talk to the sex offender registration office. So there's a lot of people who do know who God is, even though Dana said no. And I don't usually share when I don't have all the answers, and I wish I could tell you the connection between what I've experienced in a godly life and all of the pain and loss in a godly life, but I can't. But what I can say is that I'm going to continue to stand, and I'm going to continue to heal, and I'm going to continue to attempt to walk in the patient love that I have learned, and I'm going to keep the faith that this all has a purpose somewhere, and I'm going to continue to look for ways to glorify God and help others through it all. Thank you.
Y'all give her another round of applause. That was a very brave testimony, and I don't know if any of us could get up and tell that testimony, so thank you again for doing that. Let's stand as we continue to worship this morning.
You're the God of this city. You're the King You're the Lord of this nation. You are. You're the light in this darkness. You're the hope to the hopeless. You're the peace to the restless. You are. 'Cause there is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. 'Cause greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. And greater things are yet to come, and greater things are still to be done here. You're the God of this city. You're the King to these people. You're the Lord of this nation. You are. You're the light in this darkness. You're the hope to the hopeless. You're the peace to the restless. You are. There's no one like our God. 'Cause there is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. 'Cause greater things have yet to come, greater things are still to be done in this city. And greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done here. Oh Lord, and greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done in this city. Greater things have yet to come, and greater things are still to be done here. Amen. You may be seated.
How about now? There we go. Good morning. How's everybody doing today? Are we still on? Good. Okay. By the way, I want to commend your tech team. They have done a phenomenal job today under some extreme circumstances. I wasn't able to send my wife and I have had kind of rough couple of weeks with a lot of loss, and we've literally been on the road back and forth to Georgia about 4 or 5 times a week for the last 2 weeks. But anyway, I was not able to send my sermon stuff in, and man, they caught it lickety-split this morning. So just want to thank them for that. Band, amazing. But I love the testimony of Christine. You know why I like it the most is because she says what a lot of us are afraid to say. I don't have all the answers. I wish I could give you a happy Sunday school Jesus ending, but I can't, but I'm not giving up. I don't have all the answers, but I'm not done trying. You see, there's a hope that comes in Jesus Christ. But I think a lot of times in the 21st century church in America, we forget that. You see, we like happy Sunday school Jesus endings. We want to hear that everybody came to know Jesus and everybody got a new car and everybody won the lottery. We want to hear great stories. The problem is that most of the stories that we tell don't always have great endings. And most of us have got some pretty messy chapters in the story of our life. None of us are perfect. None of us are without fault. And I guarantee you, if we sit down and start getting to know each other, we've all got a messy chapter or two that are in our past. And you know what? Some of us have got a messy chapter or two that we're in the middle of right now. And some of us are still going to have a couple of messy chapters before our story is completely done. But that's what we're called to do as the churches. We're called to find folks that are messy and walk with them. We don't have to fix their mess. It's not our job. We let the Holy Spirit, along with the teaching of Scripture, begin to set that straight. But our job is to walk beside them and to walk with them through that mess. One of the things that Christine shared in the first service that she didn't share in the second service is the absolute influence that Mike Millett and his family had on her. Because in her messes of days, she found love, acceptance, and belonging with that family. And it was the catalyst that began to start her down the path to saying, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I can love the man that victimized me. I can share the gospel.
Being recorded. Right?
Hey, there you go. There's some folks dialing in going, I don't know what kind of church that is, but we got to try that next Sunday.
For those on live stream today, right? They downloaded the app. They're watching the app.
I was doing pretty good till you started putting it down my back pocket there. I hope that's nowhere in the job description after today. So let me see if I can get back on track again. The thing is she found belonging, she found love and acceptance, and even when it didn't go well, there was somebody walking with her. That's what we're called to do. We're not called to supply the needs of everybody that walks through the door. We're called just to walk with them, to help them through the situation they're in, because let me tell you what, we've experienced that ourselves. I'm considered a homeless advocate. I am the head, really, though I feel like I'm always working for Nikki. If you know, Nikki's over here. Nikki McClendon is with us today, my wife. They're really the boss. I just do what they tell me to do, and I'm afraid of both of them. But we head up a ministry called Impact Ministries, and we've partnered with the food bank here and with Mount Tabor to help a lot of homeless families throughout Lakeland. And we've been doing this now for about 10 years. For a while, we did it as a church, and then we began to get a lot of hassle. We had a building down in the downtown area right near Parker Street Ministries, where Lighthouse and Tabor House Ministries are at. Salvation Army was there for a while, did an excellent job, those guys. And so we actually went down to form a church that was going to reach addicts, prostitutes, and the homeless. And it's a weird way to sell that because people start showing up with their kids and their youth and we're going, this is probably not the church for you. Every other church in America wants to have a great children's ministry, youth ministry, which is important. But we're looking up going, you probably don't want to bring your kids to this church. Those that did, it was a different experience. But on any given Sunday, we'd have between 60 to 100 folks that basically were sleeping outdoors, were addicted, were making money as prostitutes the night before. And so we did that for a while until the city began to hassle us enough, and they finally came in and said, we want to buy your building, and you can either sell it to us or we're going to make a mess out of your fines and stuff to the point where you're going to have to sell it to us. And we said, fine, we'll just sell it to you. And we went portable at that point, and we just started going full-time working with homeless folks. And when I say homeless, let me give you some idea here. There's multiple types of homelessness. I think when everybody hears homeless, you think, a junkie, somebody's, on drugs, on alcohol, living on the street, begging for money on the street corner. There are those, but there's also those that are veterans of some of our wars, and they've got severe PTSD. They don't like to be around people. They've got claustrophobia, and we deal with those also. We deal with those that are developmentally disabled adults that are mentally challenged, emotionally challenged, developmentally disabled, and they have trouble finding a place to live. We also deal primarily with homeless families, single moms that couldn't make ends meet, was evicted. They're living in their car for 2 months, 2 weeks out of every month. They're living in a hotel when they can afford it. They can afford a $600 or $700 a month rent. They just can't afford the first and last month's deposits in order to get into that. And that's what we do. We work with a lot with an organization called Hearth, which is the homeless organization of the Polk County School Board. And we coordinate with them to help find homes and to get people into permanent housing, not temporary and transitional, but permanent housing that are mothers and kids and husbands and kids. In fact, Friday we got a call and I met with a father who is fully disabled. Now, I say this because there's a lot of times they say they're fully disabled when they haven't been diagnosed that way. They just say they're not because they don't want to work. But this man had been through a lot of physical problems in his life. He literally cannot work. And his wife, he gets disability. His wife is bringing in enough for them when she did her job in order to pay for them to have a house. She passed away unexpectedly about 8 months ago. They ended up down here. And he and his 2 middle school kids live in a park every night. And so we got a call from the Hearth group saying the school's put them up temporarily in a hotel for a couple of days. We need to try to get them into permanent housing. And so that's a lot of what we do at Impact Ministries. So I'm considered a homeless advocate. And people ask me all the time, Chris, as a church in America, how do we begin to work with the homeless? How do we have a ministry we feed people that are not necessarily homeless, but they're on the verge of that, the word called at risk. How do we work that out? How do we do that? I mean, because if they start showing up for church, aren't they going to want a handout every time they walk in the door? And how do we bridge that gap? And a lot of people are very surprised by the verse that I quote for them. And I'm going to go ahead and have them, I'm going to be doing that today. So if you have your Bible, turn to 2 Thessalonians 3, 6 through 13. If you've not already downloaded the Mount Tabor app, do that. It's a great app. You got to have a smartphone first, but download on your smartphone because you can get to the Bible from there. There's also the Bible.com app that you can download. And, of course, it'll be on the screen above me up here. Paul is writing to the church of Thessalonica. And this is where we start in verse 6, 2 Thessalonians 3. Now we command you, brothers and sisters, in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, to keep away from every brother or sister who is idle and does not live according to the tradition received from us. For you yourselves know how you should imitate us. We were not idle among you. We did not eat anyone's food free of charge. Instead, we labored and toiled, working night and day so that we would not be a burden to any of you. It is not that we don't have the right to support, but we did it to make ourselves an example to you so that you would imitate us. Now, I want to stop there for a second. Paul and his team went in, and they had been planting churches all over the known world at that time, and they had planted a church in Thessalonica. And so when they were there planning that, they worked a job. They worked jobs and then worked on the church around those jobs. Now, he goes on to say that, you know what, we had all authority given to us by God to seek support. And there's times that Paul and his team would seek support from other churches to support their missionary travels. In fact, a lot of ministries, including our ministry, we completely rely on the generosity of folks that will donate. We have discovered that it's not very good if you're a Christian organization that's trying to lead people to Jesus to take money from the government. We've also discovered that most grants don't allow you the ability to witness to people in the process, and I'll get to that in a minute. And so we rely on private donations for people that donate to us. And so there is evidence here that he had full authority to ask for support, but he knew the situation at the church, which he addresses in the very first part of this set of passages, where he said, we understand there's some folks that are idle that aren't working. In today's society and the politics that we deal with today, they call it the unwilling to work. When I was growing up, we just called it lazy. We weren't as PC back in those days. The unwilling to work. He's not talking about the widows and the orphans who have become homeless or have become impoverished because of no fault of their own. He's not talking about the people that have got physical infirmities that have no other choice but to lay out and beg because of their physical limitations. He's talking about those that have the ability and the physical ability to get a job and will not get a job and refuse to work. And he says, we came to you, we didn't ask for support, we worked because we knew that this was a sin among you. Because idleness and slothfulness and unwilling to work is a sin. It's a sin. Laziness is a sin. I'm not talking about the guy that wants to take a break after working a 40-hour week, or the young lady that comes in and says, I need to put my feet up tonight and take a long hot bath, and I don't feel like doing anything. I'm not going to cook tonight. That's not lazy. That's just being tired. And then he goes on in verse 10. It says, in fact, when we were with you, this is what we commanded you. If anyone isn't willing to work, he should not eat. If anyone is unwilling to work, he should not eat. It's amazing to me how many people are offended that a homeless advocate would read this verse. For we hear that there are some among you who are idle. They are not busy, but busybodies. Paul is not trying to make friends and influence the people. I mean, he pulls no punches here. They aren't busy. They're just getting everybody else's business. Now we command and exhort such people by the Lord Jesus Christ to work quietly and provide for themselves. But as for you, brothers and sisters, do not grow weary in doing good work. There's a couple things to break down here. Number one, Paul is saying, if you don't work, you don't eat. But he's also didn't completely give a free pass to the people of the church, because he ends the whole thing by saying, continue doing a good work. Because this is what Paul understood, is that not everybody that was idle and not working was prepared to hear what the gospel had to say. He knew that it was based on a relationship. I can tell you this, in the church in America, and I get to speak at a lot of churches all over the United States on any given Sunday. And it's not about the lights. Those are important. It creates a great worship atmosphere. It's not about the band, but it creates a great atmosphere. It's not about how great the preaching is, and there's great preaching and great music here at Mount Tabor. It's one of the reasons my wife and I have begun to attend here when we're not on the road. Those are important aspects, but let me tell you what brings people to Jesus. It's a relationship with somebody that knows Jesus. It's the building of that relationship. The old days in the 70s, when I was growing up, you went on visitation, and we still do visitation. In fact, a lot of growing churches still will do some visitation. But you knock on the door, you got your little four spiritual law track, you hand it out, and you go, hey, let me talk to you about Jesus. And then y'all have like this conversation at the end of the night, somebody's accepted Jesus. And you walk off. But in this day and age, in the 21st century, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. What it means is you have to build a relationship. Christine did not come to a point of accepting Christ because somebody handed her a tract or she showed up to one worship service. It was that relationship that started out with love, belonging, and acceptance first. That's where the beginnings start. And so what Paul is saying here is, listen, you know the Bible and you know what it teaches. If you're going to be lazy, you shouldn't eat. But keep doing a good work, because you have to start that relationship to get people to begin to dive into the Bible. And then let the teaching of the Word, the disciple of the Word, begin to convict them of the sin in which they're in. Let me tell you something. Addiction is not a health issue. I don't care what the government says. Addiction is a sin. poverty is not always caused by outside forces. Sometimes it's caused by people not wanting to work. That is a sin. Mismanagement of our money is a sin. I'd be surprised how many people we walk into that says, I need help, and we walk into a $3 trailer with a $3,000 satellite system in it. And I'm going, call me when you really need some help. Because the first thing I'm going to do is jerk that thing out here and sell it on eBay somewhere and give you the money. That's what we're going to do first. The thing that I had to learn a long time ago in working with those that are in the margins is this. And this is what Paul is saying. Those that give have to set parameters because those that take will not. Those that give have to set parameters because those that take will not. At this church, you have an amazing food ministry. I'm telling you this. Nikki and I and Denise, we work with food ministries and food banks all over the county. No one is doing what this church is doing for the kingdom of God. That's a clap moment. Go ahead and let that fly. There you go. All right. You guys are so... That first service, man, it was like a golf clap. It's like Tiger missed a shot. Okay, it was great, you know. So, but no, I mean, the deal is that you guys are killing it when it comes to that. The ministry team is working with that. God bless their heart. Those people work so hard. And the food that's being distributed out is so much better quality than anything else that we're seeing in the community. And I'm not trying to tell you that so you can lord over everybody, hey, we're a better ministry than you are. What I'm trying to tell you is you guys are doing a very good job of that. You're doing a phenomenal job of that. But there's also some other aspects of it that they probably don't talk too much about. The knucklehead that comes through the line that decides that they've been victimized all of their life and they deserve more than one box. And they're going to tell you about it. Or the one that comes through and decides they get a chip on the shoulder because XYZ church kicked them out and now they're just waiting for you to offend them so they can throw a fit and walk off. Or you're dealing with the folks that have got some kind of custody issue or restraining order, and they're showing up. And you got other people that want to meet with the pastor and talk for 3 hours about how every single situation in their life has been tragic and they just deserve this. You see, there's another side of the coin. And the folks that work with your food bank here will tell you real quick, you have to set parameters. You have to set parameters. But here's the one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to set a parameter but build a relationship with those folks. Now, let me tell you what that looks like. Because this is what I get. Chris, now we got people coming, and how do we develop a relationship with them that's not based on us giving them something? Well, don't give them anything. It's very simple. How many of your friendships start because somebody walks up and goes, hey, man, let me borrow $1. You know what? I think we'll be lifelong friends. Let's go diving for lobster next week. You know? You look up at somebody and goes, hey, I'm on hard times. I can't make any money. I am absolutely having difficult times holding down a job. And you're going, oh, man, I'm sorry you graduated from FSU. Can I have $1? Well, we'll be lifelong friends. No, your friendship's based on the fact that you found a common ground. A couple weeks ago, I've discovered at Mount Tabor, I am now officially known as that guy in the video. You know what I'm talking about. Everybody's like, oh, you're that guy that was in the video. Yes, I was. I'm the guy in the video. I wish there was somebody better looking in the video, but I was the guy in the video. The family that we were talking about, by the way, it looks like this next week we're going to be able to get them into a fifth wheel and a permanent living facility that they're not having to live in a tent any longer. And so you guys helped with that. Y'all really helped us out a lot with that. We got that call Friday afternoon. We're still working through that process, but it looks like we're almost ready to get them this weekend to someplace that's going to be permanent in the school district and when Rachel is in. But we've gone out to dinner with them. We'll pick them up. We'll go out to dinner. Now, I know they can't afford dinner, so we take them out to dinner. We sit down, we visit, we talk, we have a good time. Rachel and I have a lot of fun because, well, I got the mind of an 8-year-old also, so that's a lot of fun. We're doing spitballs at Burger King and everything else. We have a great time. This is the reason why you'll never have me go out with your youth ministry. But The fact of the matter is that we get done, I take them back and I drop them off and they go sleep in a tent. And here's what most people are like, well, shouldn't you put them up in your house overnight? No. I didn't make them homeless. That sounds hard, doesn't it? Here's my problem. If I'm doing everything for them, then two things happens there. Number one, they don't have to do anything for themselves. And number two, I don't give the Holy Spirit a chance to really work in their life. You see, I'm helping them get into a place of self-sufficiency. The father came to me and said, well, I just can't work. I said, then good. You can't live in a building. I'm going to make the recommendation that you and her split up. And I'm going to put her in a house with Rachel, or I'm calling DC&F so they can pull Rachel. Because if you're not going to work, I can't do anything for you. You've got to stop being Peter Pan and grow up. Now, I don't know if that's scripture or not, but it got the point across. Brother went out and got 2 jobs. 2 jobs. Called me the other day and said, man, I appreciate you talking to me like that. I said, well, stay on the phone. I'll talk to you like that again. Go ahead. I'll talk to your wife, and she can tell me all the stuff. My deal is this. And when I say split up, I don't mean divorce. Just mean you don't get to live in the house because you're not contributing towards that. You see, if I bail them out, then that's all the relationship's built on. But more importantly, if I bail them out, there's never going to be a time for me to share with them about the gospel. And so in the course of this relationship, we've gone out to dinner some. We've talked some. We've hung out some. I haven't gone over and above trying to help them out. We set parameters. We will only help you get into a house. Occasionally, about once a month, I'll get some food I'll bring to you. It won't be every week. I'm not your ride. The first time they called me and said, hey, I got to be down here in 20 minutes. Well, I hope you get there. Because I'm already involved with something else here, and I'm not your ride. I may be the size of a bus, and I may beep when I back up, but I am not your ride. Be careful how you laugh at that. The Bible tells us that our body's like a temple. I'm not fat. I'm a mega church. What we began to do is we began to share with them the gospel. And we began to share with them parts of the sections where Jesus is talking in the Sermon on the Mount about how to manage your finances. Because here's my deal. I know this too. If I give them everything, they've learned nothing. You see, what we go for is self-sufficiency. Welfare in America is no longer a hand up. It's a job opportunity. Welfare is a job opportunity. And people know how to play that, and they never have to work a day in their life, and they're just sitting there going, give me, give me, give me. And the problem is it never has a chance to break that cycle, so their kids growing up going, give me, give me, give me. And everybody's going, give me, give me, give me. I can tell you this, that poverty, a lot of situations, is a heart issue, not a health issue. Addiction is a heart issue, not a health issue. If you can begin to love on some people, hang out with them, treat them as you would a friend, base that relationship not on a handout, but on talking to them and walking with them through their problems. Mike and them finally realized that I was not going to be the answer. I wasn't their Savior. Jesus Christ was. And as we began to walk through, he began to realize this is not my answer to my poverty. This is somebody that can help me get out of this and never get back at this again. And so we began to work with them on sound biblical principles for managing their finances. We got them into a bank account. They weren't cashing their check in so the cash goes out easily. We helped them start learning some things on how to manage their money, set money aside, and begin to use it well. And all of a sudden the lights began to come on. And they began to think, and he's the one that called me and said, hey, listen, if we get an apartment, it's going to be about $800 a month. But if we get in this fifth wheel is going to be perfect for what we're doing. It gives us a chance to kind of look around, maybe get Rachel in a different school system. It gives us some opportunity, but it gets us off the street, and it's only going to be about $300 a month. That leaves us some money so we can save up and buy a vehicle. That's the goal we were going for. When folks are showing up on Thursdays, it's great because there's a first step there. You want to be generous. You want to be kind. But the key is, how do we take people from Thursday to begin to incorporate them on Wednesday and then incorporate them on Sunday? Because I'm telling you this, they're not going to walk up on Sunday and they're going to walk up on Thursday and then show up on Sunday. That's rare. It'll happen, but very rarely. What happens is normally they're going to find some kind of bridge situation, and Wednesday night's the purpose night. Every one of us has the ability to sit down, eat a hot dog or whatever it is that is served here on Wednesday night. What do they serve here on Wednesday nights? What's the one everybody loves? Ooh. I'm going to cancel some plans Wednesday. As I said, I'm a full gospel preacher. Everybody can sit down and eat a meal and talk to people over a table. Everybody can sit down and have a meal and eat and talk over the table. Nothing else, talk about shepherd's pie. Talk about your life. Talk about your kids. Talk about the stuff you've been going through. Talk about your messy chapter. Listen to them talk about their message. That's all it takes. That is all it takes. You don't have to give them money. Don't give them money. In fact, never give anybody money. Ever. I don't care if the sign outside in front of the Walmart that they're standing by the edge of the street says they got children back home. I'm telling you, Nikki and I know most of them, there are no children at home. The only child they're going to is a thing called meth. I mean, I'm telling you straight up, don't hand out money. But just get to start knowing people. It's not that hard. Wednesday night, just get to know people. Come out and sit down and eat and talk to folks. And then eventually, there's going to be a relationship there. And here's the coolest thing. When the heart changes, then the mind changes. And when the mind changes, then the life changes. When the heart changes, then the mind changes. Then the mind changes, the life changes. The reality is this. There's not going to be a handout program, a government program, anything else that's going to do a better job of helping people get out of the mess that they're in and into the place that they need to be, and then Jesus Christ coming into their heart as their Lord and their Savior. And if you're coming up here and they're getting a box of food on Thursday, and then somebody's out there inviting them to show back up on Wednesday, it doesn't matter the motivation. You got them here. Then Wednesday they sit down, they eat some shepherd pie, they meet some folks, you guys are sitting around eating shepherd pie, you're talking about shepherd pie, there's nothing wrong, God works through shepherd pie. If there's no other biblical truth you could take today, write this down, God works through shepherd pie. And you just hang out. And then all of a sudden you go, hey, I'm in the Sunday school class, you want to come to Sunday school? Pick you up. We got donuts. Well, I don't have a ride. I'll be your ride, man. I'll pick you up. Well, I live in the woods. All right. Well, tell me where you want to meet me. Take them back to the woods. You didn't put them in the woods. It's not your responsibility to find a home. Your responsibility is to help them find Jesus. And they'll start coming to Sunday school. Next thing you know, they'll venture into worship service. Next thing you know, there's a decision that's made. And here's the part I love about this. This is my favorite part of the story. Found people find people. Found people find people. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. People that come and know Jesus want to help other people come and know Jesus. The greatest evangelist on the face of the planet is a brand new Christian because they want to tell everybody about what's going on. Found people find people. And next thing you know, the folks that were standing in line are now helping the other folks that are standing in line. Because it's human nature. It's human nature when Jesus Christ is driving the direction and not your own personal desires. Not only do found people find people, but saved people serve people. All of a sudden it's begun. They're beginning to read Scripture going, wait a minute. The whole world isn't about me. I'm not a victim. I've got a story here. It's messy, but guess what? There's some other messy people, and now I can take my messy story and help them through their messy story. Guy's walking along one day. He falls in a hole. It's a deep hole. It's a real sheer cliff on either side. He's down in this hole. He can't get out. He's stuck. He looks up and he sees this guy walk by. It's a priest. He says, hey, priest, man, I'm stuck in this hole. Can you help me? Priest said, yeah, I can help you. He bends down on his knees. He prays. He said, please get the man out of the hole, and walks off. The guy says, really? I'm still stuck in this hole. All you did was pray for me. All of a sudden he looks up at the doctor's one by and says, hey, doctor, I'm stuck in this hole. Can you help me? And the guy goes, yeah, I can help you. Doctor writes prescription. Get out of the hole. Throws it down to the guy and walks off. Guy says, great. I've got a prayer and a prescription, and I'm still stuck in this hole. Finally, he looks up and he sees a friend of his, Charlie. He says, "Hey, Charlie, it's me, man. I'm stuck in this hole." Charlie goes, "Yeah, man, I see you down in there." He said, "Charlie, can you help me?" And Charlie goes, "Yeah, I can help you." And all of a sudden, Charlie jumps in the hole. Again, University of Miami training right there. He jumps in the hole, and he's like, "What are you doing, man?" "Charlie, now we're both in the hole." And Charlie goes, "Yeah, I was in here last week, but I know the back door. I can get us out of here." Charlie was a gator. But here's the deal. When you've been in a hole and Jesus is the driver of your heart, you want to help other people get out of that hole. So one of the greatest ministries you're going to have is when somebody in line on Thursday gets to know the Lord because of a relationship they built with you, not based on handouts, not based on providing their need, but on the one that's understanding that if they don't work, they don't eat, that they need to be a fully follower of Jesus Christ. All of a sudden, they look up to somebody and they find somebody on Thursday going, "I was in this hole. Let me show you the way out." This is not about a food handout. This is about something I can give you so you never have to stand in a food line ever again. That's what it's about. We could have walked into this town and asked for support, but instead we set the example of showing work. And if you don't eat, if you don't work, you don't eat. But don't stop doing the good work. There are a lot of ministries at this church and very vibrant, active ministries. So how does it all play together? How do we take this and make it a reality? Wednesday night, you're sitting there. And she tells you, "Hey, I came because I got food from you guys." "Oh, cool. What do you like to do?" "Well, I'm kind of artistic." "Really?" "So we got this scrapbooking thing. You want to come to scrapbooking with me?" Now, they're not going to come to Bible study first day up, but they'll come to scrapbooking. "Listen, I'll make sure you got the scrapbooking supplies. I'll pick you up. We'll go do some scrapbooking together." It's not about the scrapbooking. Don't tell that to the scrapbooking people. It's not about the scrapbooking. Scrapbooking is an excuse to get together and love on people. And all of a sudden, because of scrapbooking, they get invited to go with somebody from scrapbooking to a Sunday school class. Or they get to come sit with the scrapbooking people in church. Now, they may still be picking up some food on Thursday, but they're sitting with the scrapbooking people on Sunday. And they're all sitting there, and they got their phones down. They're taking pictures so they can take something back to scrapbook with. They're talking about scrapbooking. They're worshiping scrapbooking. Because let's be honest, scrapbooking are like vegetarians. They want you to know that they're scrapbooking. I'm just telling you straight up. My point is, I'm just joking with the scrapbooking folks. But you understand how those ministries play together? There are incredible ministries that work hand in hand. That's the beauty of Mount Tabor, is that you have so many opportunities to love on people in so many different directions. All it takes is just spending some time getting to know someone. But it doesn't have to be based on a handout. It needs to be based on giving them the gospel of Jesus Christ and discipling them through it and being there even when they drop the ball and they screw up, because they're going to screw up, and know this going in. Not every story is going to have a happy Sunday school Jesus answer. For every success story that Impact Ministries has had, we've had 10 failures. We've had 10 folks. There's not a night, a week that I don't get a call to go out and identify a body of somebody that has no family, no ties to anybody. We know them because we've been working with them. We thought they were off drugs. They fell off the wagon. They smoked some K2. It was cut with some roach spray, and they died from poisoning, and they're laying in the woods somewhere, and the police call us to come identify the body. And you have to look at them and go, "Here we go again." Or we get a call from DCNF going, "We understand you've been working with this family, but the mother decided to shack up with a meth head, and we can't have that, so we pulled the kids. We just want to let you know that they're no longer qualified for the housing project that you have." I wish I could tell you they're all success stories, but they're not. Unfortunately, you don't know which ones are which. But that's why we do what we do. Because when you get the one, and you've nurtured them through, and you've walked with them for a couple years, and you've seen them come to know the Lord, and all of a sudden their life begins to change because of this heart change, and you walk with them, you get to experience what you experience here with a young lady that says, look at all my messy chapters, but I'm here as a success. I don't have all the answers, but somebody walked with me. They introduced me to Jesus, and I'm trying to introduce some of the most vile people in the world, including the person that victimized me, to Jesus. That is a success story, and that is a win right there. That is what it's all about. Denise and I, we stopped pastoring a church, specific church, about 8 months ago. And we began to look for a church home. And it had to be kind of an odd thing because I'm on the road a lot. Though when we came to Mount Tabor, I already had a lot of things scheduled out. And when we walked into Mount Tabor, I told Denise, I said, I feel like I'm home. We love the music. We love the preaching. But mainly this is it. We love the heart that we found here. Even before I was the guy in the video, and my wife was somebody you pray for because she's married to the guy in the video, y'all were welcoming us with open arms. Shaking hands, hugging us, praying for us, loving on us. I truly believe this, that we do have the God of the city, and there's still more amazing work to be done. And I believe that God is only getting started in what he's going to do through Mount Tabor. I think the growth that you've already seen is the tip of the iceberg. Don't be afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it. Embrace what God is doing, because the minute you shut it down, he's done and he moves on to somebody else that's receptive. But your staff, your leadership, your lay leadership, your ministry teams, man, they are doing a phenomenal job. But most importantly, they are creating a community of belonging and hope and love. Keep doing it. Today wasn't much of a salvation message, I'll be honest with you. Though I think through the music and through the testimony, you've come to realize that God can take any life, any messy chapter, and anyone's story and change that by becoming Lord and Savior. And I think we'd be remiss today to not give the Holy Spirit a chance to move in the midst of folks. I'm going to ask you to stand today. I don't know if this is how we normally do it, but I'm going to ask you to stand today. Just bow your head. I know the band's going to come back up and play, but just bow your head where you're at. Seriously, every head bowed and every eye closed. There's nothing to see right now. There's always that one guy that, hey, I need to check out what's going on. They may be trying to steal my wallet, but just keep your head bowed and your eyes closed. This is what I want to ask first. We're going to kind of look at 3 different questions here. Question number 1 is, how many of you here today, you're just going through a messy chapter right now, and you just need some prayer? Just lift your hand up. Just every head bowed, every eye closed. You're just saying, I just need some prayer right now. All right. Second question I got is, during this time, God may be speaking to your heart. Holy Spirit may be working in you. There are those that may be here today that have looked up and your walk with the Lord is not what it should be. Life's has kind of gotten in the way. Maybe your schedule's gotten in the way. Maybe you just let some things slide and you're not really walking with God the way you had. Maybe today is a day of recommitment to Him. If that's you, I just want you to pray where you're at during this other time of prayer. Just say, God, I kind of let things slip, but I need to follow you more closely. I want to give you my life back. I want you to take it with it and do what you will. And then the third folks that are here today are those that may never have ever made a decision to follow Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. What you've heard here is a testimony of hope, belonging, and love, but most importantly, you've had a testimony today of what God can do in the life of someone. It's not taking a busted up life and making it better. It's taking an old life and making it new. And today, if you want that in your life, it doesn't mean the messy chapters may not still happen, but it means that there's going to be a Savior that's going to walk with you through it. He's going to see you through that. He's going to bless you through it. He's going to teach you through it. And He's going to give you a group of people around you that's going to help you walk through that. It's not only just accepting heaven. It's accepting what God can do for you right now on this planet. If that's you today, I just ask that you just take a moment to just pray and say, God, come into my life. Be my Lord and Savior. I ask forgiveness for my sin. I make you Lord of my life. Amen. Dear God, I come before you right now. I thank you for those that raised hands today. I ask that you be with them. Dear Lord, we pray a special prayer upon them, Lord. I pray that you walk with them through the mess that they're going through, God. I pray those that rededicated their life, recommitted their life today, God, that you will just give them a new fervor, Lord, for what you're going to do in their life. And for those that prayed today to accept you, God, I pray that they'll make that decision known, letting somebody in this church know they've made that decision to follow you, God. But Lord, I also pray that they will surround themselves with people that can help them take that next step as they walk in the newness of knowing you, Jesus Christ. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Are you hurting and broken within? Overwhelmed by the weight of your sin? Jesus is calling. Have you come to the end of yourself? Do you thirst for a drink from the well? Jesus is calling. Oh, come to the altar. The Father's arms are open wide. Forgiveness was bought with the precious blood of Jesus Christ.
You may be seated for just a few moments. And Denise and Chris, thank y'all. Thank you. Just Chris, thank you again. Great message. Yeah. If you just slide out for me for just 1 second. Nikki can stay so we can talk about y'all. Denise can stay. Really want to talk about you. Yeah, don't ask. They've all signed.
Okay.
Confidentiality. Inside joke there. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and call Mount Tabor Baptist Church into business meeting for Sunday, whatever today is. 28th. Is it really? 28th. We're at the end of April 2019. Chris preached in the 8:30 service. He had a question and answer time during the Sunday school time at the beginning of that. And so he answered quite a few questions and just wanted to share and have him preach. We are voting to bring him on board for a 3-month consulting staff kind of position to help us better reach and use what God is giving us. And so there's a couple of components to what we're asking him to do. Number one is to be in a pastoral role with the folks that come on Thursday, to help the ones that come on Wednesday night, to help us reach them. They are a very different group of people that he is much more familiar to work with. I'm one of those pastors that has called him at 10 o'clock at night and said, I've got a guy at the church. He can't stay here. What do I do with him? And he's like, I'm on my way. And I've met him at Nick and Mo's, and then he takes the guy and he got him to a place that night. So he has been somebody, and we've partnered with him. But he has this way of talking with people, and he's really he's really amazing. I see sometimes he's like a male version of Gail. They can just talk to anybody, you know. And I can talk to people that I know, and I can get to know one person, but getting to know a lot of people sometimes is difficult for me. Chris just has this way. You'll just see him. He'll just walk down that line. He'll talk to anybody. So he'll be doing a pastoral thing. He'll be giving us some guidance. He loves what we're doing, but at the same time, I'm asking him to say, evaluate what we're doing. And one of the things that I know that we're doing right now is when we have a lot of food, we give people 3 or 4 times to go through the line. But then I hear of homeless camps and homeless ministries out there that don't have the resources to get the food and produce that we're getting. So one of the things we're going to look at doing is limiting how many times people can go through our line, so that we can box up, put it in trucks, and take this food to other ministries, to other churches, or to homeless camps. And one of the first places we're looking at is the Crystal Lake Baptist Church shut down last year. And we have put a Spanish church. You didn't hear about that? Crystal Lake shutting down? I saw the wow back there. Yeah, it shut down. There was a Spanish church meeting at the association office after the deaf church. So that was the two churches we had starting in the association office, was a deaf church and a Spanish church. Well, we put the Spanish church over there in that community, which has gone Spanish. Over there by Crystal Lake Junior High School, back behind that, is all Spanish now. And the pastor has moved into the community, bought a home right there, like 2 blocks from the church. They are blowing out Crystal Lake. They finished the remodel and fixed from Hurricane Irma. They are reaching that community. And one of the first things we're going to do is partner with them. And all we're doing is taking the food over there. And then they're going to get it to their folks and reach their community. We're not going over to reach their community. They're going to reach their community. But we want to partner with them. So that's one. I've talked to Dr. Williamson about that. And then Chris is going to help us identify some other ways that we can use this food to reach more people. I want to have the greatest impact with the food that we're given or that we're buying. I want to have the greatest impact. And the greatest impact, I don't think, is giving somebody 4 times to go through the line. It may be here, we have a lot today, so you can go through twice. But what's left is it's going out somewhere else, off property, to help some other people. So he's going to help us with that. And then he's going to help us with he made the video. He does a lot of that. He knows how to use social media to kind of get the word out. He said, Matt, one of the things that I talked to him a couple weeks ago, he said, you got to get people's stories. He said, there are stories standing in that line. People need to hear the stories, hear how Mount Tabor is making a difference in their life. He goes, your people need to hear that. So he wants to help us capture some of that. And so that's the area, kind of consulting, pastoral role. And so it is a 3-month thing. And here's what we're saying. It's May, June, and July. At the end of July, or midway through July, we're going to sit down and we're going to talk. If we as a church can continue to financially do it, and he's happy doing it, then we're going to bring it back to you guys, and we're going to extend it 3 or 6 months. So we may say, just until further notice kind of thing. It's kind of like what we did when we called Alan. If you don't know, it was 2 years ago in May. So he's right at his 2-year mark of full time. We took this huge step of faith, and we really on paper couldn't afford it, to be honest with you. But we said, you know what, we're going to take this step of faith, and we're going to do something. It was because of a phone conversation, and I shared this in the back, with Mike Carroll at Mike's Subs. He said, Matt, call him. Get the second guy. It'll pay for itself. Don't worry about it. And I was like going, that's easy for you to say at Fuel, The funny thing is they're in the same situation again. So Richard's going to go back to him and say, I was talking to a pastor, and he said a pastor told him to take the step of faith. So he's going to use Mike's story against him next week. But I wish I could be there. So we took that step of faith. We took about 6 months to get to full-time status, and then we've taken like a year and a half after that to kind of continue to move Alan to where I had told Alan in the beginning I hope to get him, and we finally got him there, and financially, and to make sure he can take care of his new family in December. He's working on all that, so we're excited about that. But at the same time, Chris has a family to take care of as well, and so it's a 3-month thing now. At $400 a week. And I know that may sound like a lot, but if you're taking care of a family, it's not a lot. It's really not. At the end of that 3 months, we're going to decide, can we continue to do this? Can we continue to financially do this? If we can, we may look on. And I'd like to see us maybe moving to, like we did with Alan, taking some months to move that. And we'll just see how the Lord continues to move and use us. And your faithful giving has allowed us to do that. The only reason I'm even moving forward at this point is because we're so close to paying off the loan as well. We've paid $5,000 of the loan down, and they said we don't have another payment till January, but we're going to go ahead and keep making payments and hopefully have that thing paid off by the end of the year. So that was money we were already committed to spending, but we think it'll be taken care of pretty quickly, and that loan will be done by the end of the year. I really don't foresee that going into 2020. And that just frees us up to do ministry, which is what we said. We'll just take out the loan. Let's get this done so we can do ministry. And so that's what we're bringing to the church. The 830 people have voted via text. And so I have all of their names and their votes in my phone. And that way they didn't have to stick around till the end of 11 o'clock. Okay? So that is the recommendation, is that we bring Chris on for a 3-month staff consulting. We don't have titles and all that yet. We'll figure all that out. And then we're going to reevaluate this as we move forward through the next couple of months as we get ready to do that, okay? Are there any questions from me about that? Nothing? Come on, somebody ask me one question so I can at least put it in the minutes. There were questions asked and Matt answered them and looked like he knew what he was talking about. Thank you so much. When we talked about doing this, I went back in. I reconfigured the offices so he will have an office in. So there's two. I'm calling them the pastoral offices and the support offices. We converted the pastoral office to hold 3 offices, and then the other one has 4 offices. So yes, he will have an office on site, and that's one thing. He's using Catapult downtown, and that will help him save a little bit of money by having an office here on property. He's still not full-time, and Sundays he'll still be using a couple of Sundays a month where he'll be out basically sharing the message he shared this morning with other churches and consulting with the city. He was in Memphis, consulting with the city of Memphis, I think it was, about how to deal with homelessness and how to deal with homeless community. So he is a great opportunity that we have to bring somebody with this type of expertise. And so there'll still be Sundays that he's preaching around. He was senior pastor. He says, Matt, I'm not called to do that anymore. He said, I want to be on a team. I want to be supporting, and I want to be doing the work. And he said, y'all are the ones doing the work that I want to do. So he's excited about that. So, but he will have an office here, short answer. Yeah. Okay. This is for church members only, so only if you've been through the whole process, I need you to vote at this time. All in favor of calling Chris Elrod as, I'm calling him missions pastor right now. Is that what we're going to call him? Sounds good. We'll call him that. We'll call him our missions pastor. And all in favor of calling him for a 3-month consulting staff position, and then we'll reevaluate later, at $400 a week. I just need you to slip your hand up for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and opposed, same sign. Okay, awesome. That motion carries because everybody in 8:30 voted yes. That texted me. So anyway, we will. I'll go let him know. Actually, can you just step out there and have them come back if they're still here? Don't forget, meet greet is next Sunday, next 4 o'clock next Sunday. It is the last meet greet this year. I'm sorry, before the summer. For the summer, they'll start back in September 1st, actually, because that's a Sunday this year, September 1st. So this is the last one for the summer. And then on the 11th, Jen, where are you at, is Mother's Day brunch. You can sign up for both of those events where? On the app. Go to the app, go to breakfast, go to meet greet, click RSVP, and you can fill out those forms and submit that to us. This weekend is Disciple Now weekend. Alan? Yes. So students need to sign up by Wednesday night for the D&W, and we will, if you have any questions, see Alan about D&W. We are, I think, was it y'all that told y'all about where we are with the buildings? Did I already tell you that? Okay, good. I forget. 2 services, sometimes I forget. So we had a vote. Just want to share with you. We had a vote. There were 0 no votes. There were, I didn't count the ones on my phone. There was about 44 votes for you and one vote for Denise. So we don't know who that one was. But we would like to extend a call, and I'll talk to you some more about that in just a second. And so we're excited. Y'all give Chris a hand. And thanks. And Denise is most excited that he has a job again. So, and I can't wait to go to staff or pastor's conference in 2 weeks and go, yep, I got Chris. Anyway, yeah, you'll be there because they're going to say any new staff. And I'm going to say, I have one. Anyway, so meet, greet, Disciple Now weekend, this coming weekend. See Alan if you've got a kid. Scrapbooking, thank you. The scrapbookers got mentioned. We're scrapbooking with brownies is Friday night. If you don't know, I get brownies every time they're scrapbooking. They're amazing. But scrapbooking is just coming Friday night and Saturday morning, I think. Also, the Vacation Bible School meeting that was scheduled for last Saturday. Hopefully you got the message. It's been rescheduled for June 1st. So make sure you have that on your calendar for Vacation Bible School. VBS is pushed a little bit later this year, so we're not stressed on time. I know like June 1st, normally we're starting like June 4th or something, but we don't start this year until the 17th or something like that. So we've got time on that, okay? Hey, thanks so much for being here today. I feel like there's something I'm missing to announce. Youth meeting tomorrow night at the association office. Tuesday. Mother's Day. Did that. Bebo, help me out. I am going to close. We'll entertain a motion to adjourn. We have a motion. Is there a second? Bebo's going to say, everybody say aye. All in favor of closing the business meeting, say Bebo. Opposed, say be no. Okay, I think that's everything. I've done announcements, I've done business meeting, and I'm going to see Avengers at 3:45, so I got to go. Okay, and don't say a word to me about that movie. Don't even tell me if you liked it or not. Just I've read one thing on Facebook, and it's already a spoiler, and I don't want to talk to anybody that's seen the movie. So don't even look at me if you've seen the movie today. No, hush. We're going to pray. We're not going to sing. We're going to pray. We're done. Let's pray. Tom, close us in prayer, please.